Frodo and his companions have departed the Shire, unaware of the danger they are actually in. Merry has gone ahead to prepare Crickhollow and meet Frodo later on, leaving the others to make their way towards Buckleberry Ferry. As they walk on the forest paths, the hobbits encounter a rider in black and instinctively hide from it after feeling a sense of dread wash over them.
This scenario is what is called a sentry game, where certain models, in this one being my Nazgul, are in sentry mode until the opponent is spotted. What sentry mode is each model has to roll a d6 at the beginning of their turn. On a result of 1, the model does not move. On a result of 2 to 3, the opponent can move the model 3 inches. On a result of 4 to 5, I can move my own model 3 inches. On a result of 6, the model can move as normal.
The good player wins if Frodo manages to escape the board via the eastern edge, where Gildor and Glorian spawns. The evil player wins if Frodo is slain. The good player also wins if all three Nazgul are defeated in combat.
This Nazgul rolled a 1, so he is not moving at all. This Nazgul could move however he wants, so he's going to move his 6 in a beeline towards hobbits, because I won priority. And because I rolled a 2, my opponent can move my Nazgul.
Wrong way, idiot. Having passed all of their courage tests, the hobbits are going to begin the slow and scary walk forward. They don't yet know that Gilder is there, nor do they know where the Nazgul are. So we'll just have them all kind of, spread out a little, but
Meanwhile, this is a character many of you may not be aware of because you only watched the movies.
yeah, so your boy Gildor here, sensing that there's danger, is going to hoof it into the woods a solid 8 inches. Little does he know that danger lurks nearby.
The current map assessment. Some targets are moving in an intended direction. Others, not so much. The Nazgul do appear to be approaching Frodo. They're gaining on them fast.
So, once more, the hobbits have won their courage tests. They also managed to win priority this turn. So we're going to have them continue to hoof it. I'm going to have Pippin kind of go off to the side, while Sam and Frodo both kind of go together because, they're buddies. Gilder, in the meanwhile, is going to take some steps. He's going to move into the forest proper. Which, I think the Nazgul might see him.
That'll do it.
Alright, now your turn.
Having passed every single one of my rolls, but not to a complete degree, I am allowed to move my Nazgul 3 inches. So I'll be moving this one this way, towards Gilder and Glorian. Meanwhile, my main one, who I have headcanoned, is Kamul, the Easterling. I shall just send him on a beeline towards Frodo. And this one, wouldn't you like to know, farm boy? He also is going to be moving forward. Yeah. Perfect. The movement has been relatively consistent from both parties. Even with the sentry rules, I've been able to consistently move my guys in the proper direction. Frodo is the only one that technically needs to survive of the hobbits and has been making continuous forward momentum. All right, this one, because I can move him half, will move half, cutting through these trees towards Gilder Glorian and Frodo. This one, right here, will not move. Meanwhile, this guy will move his full 6 towards Gilder and Glorian.
As a reminder, he needs to be within 3 in order to spot him.
Must be within a zone of this.
Getting close. Once more, all of the hobbits have passed their tests. So, we'll have them all advancing, particularly Frodo. Now, I'm going to have him veer slightly off to the side. Sam, of course, will be joining him. Pippin is staying kind of far from the pack, ready to intercept if needed. Gilder, meanwhile, is actually going to rendezvous with the hobbits this turn. I'm actually going to leave him in the middle of the woods, concealed.
So close.
Damn, I might not even raise the alarm.
This is an assessment of the map on turn 2's end.
Was it 2 or 3?
2.
2.
Mm-hmm. The Nazgul are closing in, but he's making good headway in the proper direction.
All right, so Sam and Frodo have met up with Gilder and Glorian in the woods. Unfortunately, Pippin has gone astray and has spooked himself into immobility, so he will be remaining stationary this turn. But Frodo and company are going to start back on their beeline. Move them a little bit, and we'll have Gilder stay pretty close by. That's well within his movement. All alone out in the woods, Pippin gets turned around and lost. And little does he know that he's wandering right towards one of the ring wraiths.
Having succeeded on this roll, this one may begin moving towards Pippin.
Dun, 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 dun. Well, not a full move.
Pippin is not yet within 3 inches, though. Dun, 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 dun.
My goodness. This Nazgul, unfortunately, is controlled by me this turn, so it thought it saw an elf, but actually, on the other hand, could be something over this way.
Dwarves, hobbits, and elves are known to hide in the bushes. All right. The movement is actually quite tense as each player is starting to move into the other's territory.
Might see a flash.
Indeed, if Pippin makes a mistake next round, he will set off the alarm, and it'll be a mad dash to the end.
Sam and Frodo have once again passed their courage tests and will be advancing once more through. So Frodo... Oh, no! Tom Bombadil is not going to be happy about that one. So they can get just barely off the map. And Gilder, meanwhile, sensing that Pippin is an idiot and is getting lost. That's 3. That's 6. So we'll send him to, there.
But now the doom has come. Poor Pippin having failed courage, must now move as I direct him.
Bursting through the bushes, he runs face to face into a Nazgul. Dun, 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 dun. This Nazgul will continue circling these bushes, thinking it heard something.
Because I rolled low.
Kind of nestle him in there so he doesn't knock over.
You gotta thoroughly check a bush.
It's true. Gotta pitch your tent deep in the bush. Alright, this guy, he's also actually, he's sniffing out where Frodo was. But that's not going to help him now.
For the most important one. Pippin is doomed. If it wasn't for the fact he threw a thermos. What's that over there?
What was that noise?
Alright. Good had the ultimate chance of luck today by moving away the Nazgul that was that close.
Literally
to
as
Pippin.
close as he could be.
The reason the alarm was not raised, despite my model being within 1 inch of Pippin, was because the alarm only gets raised at the end phase of a turn, not during the movement phase. My opponent had succeeded in moving my sentry more than 3 inches away from Pippin, and therefore into a safe area.
This one is still convinced that the bush is where the hobbits most likely lie.
So he'll continue his slow circling around.
I must be a soldier from 2001 for how I'm ready to die for Bush. As if sensing the elf, he begins moving in that direction. A hated enemy must be destroyed. This one realized that someone must have thrown the thermos upon investigating, and moves is 6.
He can't get within an inch, remember.
Yes.
Oh.
But he can get an inch there.
And now Pippin is in real trouble.
He's isolated.
Alright, Sam and Frodo once again making it. Kind of proving that one Nazgul's point that hobbits do in fact love bushes. Some of their favorite things in the world. Gildor, meanwhile. Gildor has to make a courage test to charge. Having passed his courage test, Gildor Inglorian jumps into the fray, hoping to distract the Nazgul. And then we need to swap.
Pippin, in total fright, begins running towards where he threw.
That's a twofer, so.
Yep. He has isolated himself once again while the battle rages. Things have turned in the Nazgul's favor. The hobbit Pippin is isolated. Frodo and Sam are making it towards the border. Unfortunately, 2 other Nazguls will be allowed to move freely soon, as the call is raised. But first, we have a fight to sort out. Gildor Inglorian was unable to injure the Nazgul, but did push him back.
Back, you beast!
Now that the alarm has been raised, the Nazgul given to cruelty will attack the hobbit. The other ones, seeking the target, are going to beeline it towards Frodo. Now that Gildor Inglorian has given up the ghost. This one shall join as well. Frodo, Sam, they're on your heels.
So, having heard Gildor's cries that the Nazgul are near, Sam and Frodo are going to continue hoofing it as best they can. Gildor, meanwhile, with his 8 inches of movement, that's 3, 6, definitely enough. He comes charging around the corner at the Nazgul, hoping to save poor Pippin.
In an excellent display of courage, Pippin and Gilder and Glorian have managed to attack the Nazgul who was attacking them, forcing him back an inch. Overview. The Nazgul that was engaged with Pippin and Gilder and Glorian has been slain due to great rolls. Meanwhile, the other two are fast approaching Frodo and Sam. This game could still go either way.
Frodo and Sam, having one priority, will continue to hoof it. It should only be one more turn until they've made it all the way out. And then get one of these two. Pippin, having realized his mistake, is going to start heading back. He's just been pacing this whole time. Gilder, meanwhile, with his extended movement, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, so he can run back around the bushes, trying desperately to intercept the Nazgul before Frodo falls.
The Nazgul gonna book it. Frodo. Coming in at him. The desperate run. But if we get priority next round, Frodo and Sam are in big trouble. This is a pretty good match, getting close with evil catching up. Gilder and Glorian is coming close towards the end, but these last few inches may go to evil.
Having one priority, Frodo rushes forward, getting basically exactly the 4 inches he needs to rush off the board edge. Sam close behind.
Game over. Good wins. All right, so that game was actually kind of close.
It was very close right at the end. If I had not got priority on our very last roll, there's a good chance Frodo would have died then and there.
Who do you think was the Fool of a Took?
Fool of a Took is definitely Pippin this time. My initial plan was to send him off on his own so that if the Nazgul found me, he'd be a distraction, and to that end, he definitely worked. But if he hadn't gone off on his own and had stayed with Sam and Frodo and Gilder, I'm pretty sure the alarm would not have even been raised. So I'm going to give him Fool of a Took. He gets no healing whatsoever, despite the fact that none of the hobbits need it.
Who do you think is the bravest companion?
I would say this round the bravest companion was Gilder and Glorian. He was zipping around the map at the end there, trying to save Pippin's stupid ass. He's not really a member of the Fellowship, so I don't know how helpful that would be for him. But again, nobody really got hurt. It was very close there with the Nazgul. We rolled, both of us rolled all 5s on our rolls, so it was only solved because Gildor had the higher fight value, and thus managed to banish the Nazgul barely. So if it wasn't for that special rule where the Nazgul get banished because they have no will, then there's a good chance we would have lost Gildor. But since he dove in head first, he wins bravest.
What do you think of this playstyle with the random chance of how your characters move?
I think that the sentry rule is pretty fun. I feel like it would work a lot better if there were a couple more sentries, like if there was a fort or something that I was trying to get past. As it stands, this being a 4 foot board, there was a lot of space that they had to cover before there was even a chance of the cover being blown. But I gotta say, having the hobbits need to pass a courage test or else they move according to evil's whims definitely spiced up the sentry gameplay. All right, Jack. So now that the game's over, who do you think was the fool of a took?
Well, it's kind of hard to determine based on the fact that I'm not in complete control of my guys throughout the game. I believe the one that was this guy who was at the end. He had some of the best early rolls, but the guy who engaged Pippin and Gilder and Glorian, he had the worst initial roll, but since then he was just gunning it, annoying you too. But probably the guy who was in the bushes. He was the fool of the two.
And who would you say is the bravest companion?
Gonna have to be the guy who engaged Pippin and Gilder and Glorian. Moved him in what I thought was a very strategic method. If it wasn't for bad rolls, I think he may have killed Gilder and Glorian and wounded Pippin.
What do you make of the sentry style mission that we just played?
I find it very interesting, and it's actually pretty fun because there's an aspect of chance, but also an aspect of control. Because like the chance isn't like you fail, boom, you're instantly seen by the sentries. It's you fail, your opponent can move you in a way that you'll either be more like spotted or less likely to spot somebody. So I think it's a fun balance that restricts it enough to make it still an enjoyable play. Now, granted, if I had been rolling nothing but ones, my guys would just have been stuck at the edges, but they weren't. Consistent, different roll. Sometimes it went my way, sometimes it did. I enjoyed it.